Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Blight League. This is a new character I just leveled up through the story just for you guys. In this video today, I'm going to go over the entire leveling guide from start to finish, from level 1 to finishing the campaign. We got to level 65, Deathless. It had only taken me 6 hours total, which included buying all of the unique items I used, including the gems, including coming up with the build and using it during leveling. And so I'll quickly go over the uniques I used in the build. So I used a Wanderlust, which this enchant came from the lab that I ran on the character. It didn't have an enchant, so 20% move speed cannot be frozen. I used Parandis Signet Paw Ring so that I could get, I didn't have mana problems. You can use a Clarity to augment this. City Breath is a good amulet for minions. Use Gold Rim for Elirez. Used a Tabula just so I didn't have to worry about socket colors. I got a random staff that was under level 33 and then I was using 2 life sprigs and then I upgraded to this and I rolled the tier 1 essence fear. This one. Yeah, so it rolled like 30% increased minion damage. It was only level 30, so that was pretty good. And it had the colors. There was 1 chaos to get a 5 link, and then I chromed it to 3 blue, 2 red because it's an int strength staff. You could do the same. It's very cheap. I bought Luctanial gloves for the cast speed, and this is one of the best belts you can use for leveling because the Abyss Jewels don't have a level requirement. It's very cool. That's it. Alright, see you guys in the rest of the video. Hope you enjoy the leveling guide and have as good success as me, where it only took about 5 hours to get through the whole story. When it comes to the bandits, you should kill all the bandits to get the extra passive points to use on the skill tree because we don't need the extra reses or any of the extra crit or any of the extra stuff for doing the help. Hello, so here I have all of the required gems in order of level requirement, when you will unlock them, etc., and how to use them. Okay, so first of all, you start with Fireball as a witch. You pick it up off the beach, then out of your first chest you get Arcane Surge. You synergize these and the one that the game gives you, you use Fireball. You'll be perfectly fine with your auto attacks and Fireball in your mana pot. Once you finish the first quest, you get Raise Zombie. You should raise up to 3 zombies right away. The zombies are gonna kick butt and they're amazing. Right away, immediate, very strong. You do this with Fireball up till level 4. Once you hit level 4, you're going to get Summon Raging Spirit from a quest. You pick it. You also can get Summon Phantasm support and Frostblink. You should take all of these. Frostblink is going to be your mobility skill. You don't need to link it to anything, just straight up 1 blue socket. Easy. Summon Phantasm should be linked to your zombie and your Summon Raging Spirit. So instead of Fireball, you can now use Summon Raging Spirit. So you get rid of Fireball and Arcane Surge completely, and you only run a Summon Raging Spirit, Phantasm, Raise Zombie. At level 8, you get to add the additional minion damage and melee splash. So this is where you'd want 2 separate 3 links. You want a 3 link of Raise Zombie, minion damage and melee splash, and Summon Raging Spirit, minion damage and melee splash. If you get a 4 link of 3 blue and a red, you can also do it. This build requires a lot of blue, so maybe when you're looking for items and picking up items, you should be looking for blue sockets and many blue sockets linked to help you in the quest of filling out your gear so you can actually use the gems in the build. Once you hit level 8, this threshold of getting your really nice AoE clear of minions, you get Flame Dash, the upgrade to Frostblink. So Flame Dash is an instant cast ability when you don't use an ability recently. So once you walk around for a bit, you can Flame Dash immediately. You see that? No need for cast speed or anything. But if you try to do multiple, there is a delay. So you must keep that in mind. You can't spam Flame Dash to the extent you think you could, but there is a cooldown. So once you've used all your Flame Dashes, now you can walk, and you can use it off of cooldown, and it will be instant every single time. So you can literally just travel an extra Flame Dash every second over someone who's just walking. Okay. So then, at level 10, you unlock Summon Skeleton from a quest. So this is when you replace Summon Raging Spirit with Skeletons. You get rid of Summon Raging Spirit because you can summon 2 Skeletons instead of 1 Raging Spirit. It's better. You can also, this is where you could start using Ruthless on your Skeleton link if you want to, for a little bit of extra damage if you have a Tabula, for example. At level 12, this is where you get Spirit Offering. So you could grab Spirit Offering in the build. This will increase the damage that your minions do because it gives them extra chaos damage from the physical damage that they're doing, and which you use Spirit Offering by consuming corpses. It'll also help cap the elemental resistance of your minions, which your zombies in the beginning might have a small issue with surviving until you get a certain skill point on the skill tree. At level 16, I chose Summon Skitterbots and Desecrate. So Summon Skitterbots is a good aura because it literally gives you 20% more damage, and you will notice that the 20% chill slowing effect is very nice when you're trying to not die during leveling. I would also just, again, 0 deaths. Okay. Desecrate at 16 now allows you to literally raise zombies no matter where you are, because you can make corpses wherever you want. You see the corpses? That's Desecrate. You can also then Spirit Offering no matter what, wherever you are, because you will be able to make the corpses and consume the corpses to make the extra damage. Okay, so then at level 18, you get melee physical damage. You can then slot this into the Skeleton link and the Zombie link to upgrade their damage. Very nice. So this will make your 4 link for zombies. You'll have Raise Zombie, melee. You won't use melee splash anymore. You'll use minion damage, melee physical damage, and you don't use summon Phantasm anymore, and you use melee splash. Yes. At level 24, I decided, because the build doesn't really need Hatred or any damage aura, we had enough damage. I figured Purity of Elements will help me to cap my resistances during leveling, because I'm using leveling uniques, and I really don't want to have to worry about elemental resistance throughout leveling. I just wanted to have gems carry me all the way through, so I used Purity of Elements as another aura, so we reserved 35% with Skitterbots and 35% with Purity of Elements. We have plenty of mana to play the rest of the game with. At 34, I decided to choose Summon Stone Golem because it gives you flat life regen, and at level 34, I had about 28 life regen. This gave me an additional 33, so 33 on top of that was double my life regen. It's really broken. Then at 38, this is where you're done buying gems. Okay, this is where the game is completed. So this is where you get your Cyclone, you get Castle Channeling, and you get Multi-Strike. So these are the fully completed links after you hit 38. Okay, you have Cyclone, you have Castle Channeling. So Cyclone, and while you channel, it's gonna cast Desecrate and Spirit Offering. So this is this combo, so that you have the Infinite Shield. At level 38, you should also do your first Ascendancy to get Mistress of Sacrifice. Mistress of Sacrifice makes your offering skills also affect you, but it has a reduced effect, increased duration, and increased minion duration. So this will make it so that the Spirit Offering affects you, so now you're getting elemental resistances from the Spirit Offering. You're also getting the extra energy shield percentage of your life, like 20% of your life as energy shield. So this helps you sustain when fighting, because when you're going through the story, you don't really have great regen or anything. Like I pointed out, we had to use a Stone Golem to help increase our regen, otherwise it was really bad. So I kind of cheesed my regen here, but normally you wouldn't have very good regen and very good ways to sustain, so the only way to sustain would be an instant health flask, and in this case now we have a 499 ES shield every 0.78 seconds. This is why I went Deathless, because past level 38, it was impossible. It was so easy. I'm not even going to show Katava because it was so boring. I was going to. I recorded it. It was boring. Okay, so then your main link for zombies is Zombie, Minion damage support, Feeding Frenzy, and Multi-Strike. those are your main 4. You don't need melee physical damage or minion damage technically, but like they're bonus damage if you want them and have the space. So if you have a 5 link, you can make this work. If you have a 4 link, you can make some of it work. I would prioritize Multi-Strike and Feeding Frenzy because they are the most overpowered supports for Raise Zombie. On skeletons, I went and bought a Vaal summon skeleton at level... When I had like a level 8 summon skeleton, instead I went and got a Vaal version so that I could use the big army to get like 24 skeletons. So I linked this with minion damage, Feeding Frenzy, melee splash. That's pretty much all you need, but you can also add melee physical damage and Ruthless. These aren't required. These last 2, you do not need them. You could 4-link this with 3 blue and 1 red. That's perfectly fine. You would be good enough with that setup, and you'd have enough damage. But if you have the luxury of having like a tabula, I'm giving you the options of here's the additional thing you could add to the build. You can also, if you have a tabula, instead of the Ruthless, you could just put the Raise Zombie in your tabula, and you don't even need the second link, okay? You don't need it. It's overkill as it is. This build will be way too strong. Then you just need on a separate thing, so in the other items that you wear, you need a lot of blue and then a red. So the red for the Stone Golem, you have an unlinked Flame Dash, unlinked Skitterbots, and an unlinked Purity of Elements. You don't need them to be linked to anything, and you'll have enough mana, you'll have enough everything. This will carry you through the entire story, and it's beautiful! These are all the gems, and now I'll go over the rest of it. So this is the skill tree that I went with for this leveling. I didn't do any regrets throughout the entire thing, and this is very similar to the skill tree that I'm using on my main character, so that I won't have to Orb of Regret a lot either to get it back down to the other version. So if you notice, I started in the left side because so most people, if they're new to Necromancer, would think they want this minion damage right here, but you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nodes that you don't really need, and here it's only 4 to get out. So then so I did these 4, started here, came into Arcanus Dominion, came up to minion damage and Lord of the Dead to get an extra Raise Zombie and an extra skeleton, went up to intelligence, got these travel nodes up to trying to get Ravenous Horde for the additional onslaught on my minions. This is very powerful. I figured then once, because I'm already up here, I might as well get the 10% increased maximum life and all res, because res on your skill tree can be very helpful when you're in the beginning of the game and you don't have items to cap your reses. Then I just use these 2 extra points because 5% max life and 8% max life, and the mana's good. When we came down this direction because I want to come towards all the minion nodes, and just like the normal skill tree, get quick recovery because it's good amount of life and regen. Then I came down, got dexterity, intelligence, came up to... This was my next priority. Once I got to this point, I realized that my zombies were dying, and so the only way to make them survive is to give them sustain. The forms of sustain that I know that works from all the testing that I've been doing on the main build, this node giving 1.5% of life per second was really good, and the leech of the damage as life, so I gave them these 2 nodes, and my zombies did not die for the rest of the game and still haven't died. I also got Sacrifice, which gives you regen and your minions regen plus life and res. It's really good. So yeah, my minions never died ever again. And then I grabbed Spiritual Command to share the attack speed. It's just another good minion node. Came down to Retribution, came down to Discipline and Training, then to Sanctity, came down here to get Grave Pack because 5% chance to deal double damage and accuracy. Came down here. When I hit this strength when I hit this strength node, I grabbed the dexterity because I required it to level up my Desecrate another point. I couldn't because I only had 60 dex or something. Then I came to here, came up. I wanted to get this minion node right here, Righteous Army, because it gives, again, more regen and more life and more damage, and it's really good to make sure that my minions were scaling with me to keep both of us alive throughout the whole game. So Righteous Army was the next priority. Then since I was already here, I got the rest of the minion damage. Then I figured Faith and Steel's good for some all-res armor, and since I'm already using Spirit Offering permanently up, it's going to help with this with the energy shield. Then I figured Devotion, just like my main build, is just a really good health strength node for the build. Then, because we were already here, instead of coming down first, I said these points are probably better, so I got Born to Fight. I got Heart of the Warrior, and I got Warrior's Blood, tons of strength, tons of life, and tons of regen. Then I came down here to get, I wanted to come down to Utmost Might, but while I'm coming down, I grabbed Juggernaut, just like the main skill tree. It's very good. Then we were going to max out Utmost Might, come down to here, go grab Soul of Steel, and basically start copying the main skill tree. We're only level 65. We just finished the story. We beat Katava, Deathless, all that, and this was the skill tree for now. I forgot to mention, after doing Warrior's Blood, my bad, I did not come down here next. I went here. I went and grabbed some minion physical damage reduction, and that they don't take extra damage while moving from bleeding. This is a very good node, and I never grabbed Elemental Equilibrium because I didn't grab Hatred, and so my minions are only doing physical damage currently, and therefore there was nothing to buff with Elemental Equilibrium. Yeah, it was physical and chaos damage, that's it. So that was the skill tree I used. It's very similar to my main one, so you won't have to Orb of Regret or anything. And now I'm going to transition this into a budget build. For Ascendancies, I chose to do Mistress of Sacrifice as my first Ascendancy. I did the first Ascendancy at level 38 because that was when it was actually going to help me. I could get it at 33 because at 33 you're matching the same level as the Ascendant area, which is good. At 38 you're not losing any experience because of the way the experience loss works, so it's still efficient to do it at 38, and then you have a higher chance of success. If you have trouble in Trials of Ascension, I recommend bringing an additional health pot. I'll talk about Flasks after I talk about Ascendancies. So the first Ascendancy is Mistress of Sacrifice because of the way it interacts with your Spirit Offering, making it apply to yourself so that you get a 499 ES shield every 0.78 seconds. Okay, then you do the normal, neutral, mindless aggression. You have to take this node next because you want to get to Bone Barrier and Unnatural Strength. Unnatural Strength gives you the +2 to all minion skill gems. It's just really good. And Bone Barrier allows you to cap your reses easier, allows you to get physical damage reduction in the build that has trouble getting physical damage reduction, and gives you Bone Armor, which helps against, it's like a free steel skin that also negates bleeding, and you get the extra recovery and minion life. It's so much stuff in one node. It's really good defensive node, and since we're already in this because we're going to get Unnatural Strength anyways, we'll go for the Bone Barrier just like the main build. Okay, and then the next thing, it's time to talk about the flasks I prioritize. So during leveling, you should pick up every single life flask that you ever find and roll transmutation on it to turn it from a normal item into a magic. If it's already a magic, you should identify it. If you don't have a good health flask and you have picked up one that is a higher amount than the one you have, you should probably start trying to get a good mod on it. So what is a good mod on your life flask? Look for instant recovery. Anything that it gives you so that you click it and gain all of your health back. So I, during leveling, used 3 health flasks for basically the majority of leveling until I got level 38 and couldn't die anymore. So I basically abused the game with 3 health flasks because each one has instant health recovery. I only had like 1,000 health or something, so let's say I get hit for 500, I could hit a flask and it would put me back to full life. So I had like 12 bars of life to go through before something could kill me. So I, just as an example, in Trials of Ascension, I got hit by the the chop thing. It's the butcher knife thing. That hit me and it bleeds you for like 5 seconds and it almost killed me 4 times over. That's how strong the bleed was, but I had enough health flasks that I survived it, even though it should have killed me more than enough, you know? So health flasks are really good if you have trouble surviving, and especially instant recovery is the difference between being able to actually respond to taking damage and not, because recovery over time is not going to help you against getting shit on. Okay. The other flask, after you don't need it anymore, so after level 38, well, okay, at level 4 you get your first flask, and I recommend grabbing Quicksilver and try to roll Charge Recovery. It's very nice. Then when you get your second flask option, grab another Quicksilver. When you get your third flask, that's when you grab your first Silver Flask for Onslaught. You're going to want recharges 5 charges when you take a critical strike, because it lasts so long, and it's good to get the charges back that way. This one, it takes so little charges that you just want increased charge recovery. Then this one, I got a Granite Flask, and the first roll I got on it was gain 1 charge when you're hit by an enemy, which is what you want on a Granite Flask. Just to put this into perspective, my defenses right now, I have 10 armor. When I pop a Granite Flask, it puts me up to 5,170, which is 52% estimated physical damage reduction. That was pretty fun. And then you pop both of them. This one, which gives 15% additional physical damage reduction and 20% of melee physical damage taken reflected to attacker. It put me up to 67% just in these 2 flasks. So majority of the game while I was running through, I'm killing stuff fast enough because of how strong the Necromancer, zombies, and skellies are that I always had my flasks up. So I always, it felt like I was playing my main character in Delving, and I was just had perma flasks up the whole time, running at full speed, flame dashing, zombies and skellies just killing everything. It felt so broken through leveling. This is absolutely insane. So I also I rolled bleed immunity on this. I rolled poison. The poison's irrelevant. You need some form of bleed immunity. It'd be nice unless you have 3 health flasks. And you want increased duration on this basalt flask. You want the gain 1 charge when you're hit by an enemy on the granite flask, and you want instant recovery on life flask. That's my advice on that. In case you're wondering about Pantheons, I didn't use them, to be honest. I didn't need them, but if you want, the way you can use them is, once you get a Pantheon, so the second half of the game, past Act 5, you start to get Pantheons. It's these bonus effects when you kill these bosses, and the bosses, after every single one, you're going to also get a passive skill point for completing it. It's a side mission in the case of these ones down here, the miners, I believe. And so you can, as soon as you get them unlocked, you talk to Sin, it'll show this page, and then you can, and it'll like highlight that it's now available, and then you can go to your hideout or something, or town, and you can change it by just clicking. And so as soon as you unlock one, you can start using it. It doesn't matter. If you want, you could use Rislatha. This one's really nice. Life Flask, gain 3 charges every 3 seconds if you haven't used a Life Flask recently. So if you have like multiple Life Flasks, you use this, and then you can just constantly have Life Flasks up 24/7 and basically have yourself you'll never be able to die because you'll always have Life Flasks up. It's really nice. You could reduce the chaos damage taken, like just whatever you have unlocked, you could just use whatever sounds nice. Pretty much they're just beneficial stats on top of it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Path of Exile Blight League. I hope you enjoyed my leveling guide for Necromancer. It was a lot of fun to make. I'm gonna now repurpose the character into the next video, which is a budget build for my main build. So I'm planning to try to make a version that is under 2x that can comfortably do mapping up to tier 16, including Uber Elder. That is the goal. I hope you guys look forward to that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this helped anyone who wasn't familiar with Necromancer and now knows better what to use at every level of the game, up to all the way up to Katava. I hope this helps. If it helped anyone, please leave a like. If you guys just like the leveling guide in general but aren't even trying to level a character and you like the video, hey, like the video. If you didn't like the leveling guide and you thought I could improve somewhere, leave a dislike and comment what I could improve on, because this was my first leveling guide. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and now I'd like to thank my Patreon and my YouTube memberships for all the support. See, they recently figured out that you can invest in the channel, so I will reinvest the money that you guys invest in me back into the channel. We'll improve lighting, green screen, the fan volume so I can turn up my mic volume, my computer so I can play and record at higher frame rate and quality, and render at a higher quality. You may notice some pixels because I have to only record at a bitrate of like 4K instead of, I could in a better computer 7K. Alright, so I'd like to thank White Wolf, Starscream, Tridnix, Diverboy, Varkbone, White Wolf, and Tridnix. White Wolf and Tridnix support on both Patreon and YouTube memberships. Diverboy has been supporting for 27 months, Varkbone is new, and Starscream is new. I appreciate all the support, and all new joinees, and all the investment. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode with the budget version of this character. I'll see you guys in a little bit.